The next file will be the write address agent, and I'm adding another file with the name. And I have pasted the code as well. So this will be the main focus of this course, writing the reusable agent. Therefore, I'll be explaining this file a bit more in detail. And before going into the details, let us just see what all are the components of the reusable interface agent, which you have seen in the previous session. So this is a file that you need to write. So the first one, you will be writing a write address agent, and for all other different channels the approach will be similar. So we will focus on the write address channel agent in detail. In the file, you need to write the master components, the slave components, and the passive components. So you will be writing master sequence and master driver, slave sequence and slave driver, and also you'll be writing a monitor and connecting the appropriately with the analysis port. But if you will not be writing this checker and the coverage component within this agent, but if you want, you can write, but in this example I will not be writing. But I will show you an implementation of this coverage, collection, and the checking part in the upper layer agent, where we will instantiate all the 5 different AXI channel agents together. So you need to write the master sequencer, the master driver, slave sequencer, slave driver, and the monitor part. And mostly the sequences will be same as that of the UVM sequencer. You just need to define it your own type def. So you don't need to define sequences in most of the scenarios. So this part will be simplified. And what is remaining is writing how to write a master driver and a slave driver, and also how to write a monitor. And finally, how to instantiate or add all of these components into an agent class and configure them appropriately to make these connections. So that is what we are going to see in this movie. Now let's completely focus on the AXI write address agent interface. So as I said earlier, we will not be writing your own specific sequencer, but you will be just typecasting the UVM sequencer, parameterizing with your own base transaction, the AXI transaction basis, as the AXI master sequencer and slave sequencer. So basically both are same. Just to make just to give sensible name, I have defined two separate typecast. So this is basically the UVM sequencer itself. First, you will see the master driver definition. So your AXI write address master driver will be extending from the UVM driver, and it need to be parameterized with this AXI based transactions. This is again specific to the UVM implementation. And next is the UVM component utils macro. Again, this is specific to the UVM components, which I'm not explaining here it again. And within the master driver, it need to have a handle of the virtual interface where it should drive signals. So we have a virtual AXI write ADDR interface channel type with the name m_intf, or if you see the interface definition, this was your first interface, AXI write ADDR interface. The next one is the interface config here. So actually this is a mistake. This config is not used anywhere in this class, in the master class. So this is only required in the slave class if you wanted to drive always ready. So this is not required here. You can remove it. And after the interface, I have defined another event called drive DUT. So the purpose of this event is very simple. I'm trying to make this driver a little more generic so that it is a reset aware driver. So we'll see in details how it is implemented. So let the event be named as drive DUT, and this is a new class, and this is a build class. Again, there is nothing to build and connect in this particular in this driver class, because this is a lowermost class. And in the main run phase, virtual task run phase, first you will check whether the interface is null. If the interface is null, we'll give a fatal error, and then within a forever begin begin and you are forking two tasks. One is the reset aware task, which is waiting for the reset and restarting all this loop again, and this is our main functional task, which will get the sequences from the sequencer and drive it to the DUT. You can see that both of them are forked and we are waiting for a fork join any, and whenever this one is completing, so this will never complete. Whenever this one is completing, whenever there's a valid reset, we will be disabling this thing and restarting this again, because this is in a forever block. So this is a general implementation of this reset aware task. Wait for the reset. So this is an active low reset. On the reset, initialize the signals to 0. In this particular channel, there is only a valid is need to be initialized to 0. And after reset, wait for the positive edge of the reset, where the reset will be removed, and then trigger this event, which is drive DUT. So this event was part of this class, and you can see that the same event is used in the main functional task, which is manage sequencer transaction. Now we'll come to the main task, which is manage sequencer transaction. The first thing we are waiting here is for getting a reset. So this is getting synchronized with the reset in the DUT. So whenever there is a reset, the whole task will be killed off and it will come back to this point, so that we need to wait for this reset. This reset even get triggered. So after this point we are good to go, as the DUT is already in the reset state. So if you are not specific about the mid-sim reset, or if reset is only in the initial part, you can ignore all these things. You can make things a little more simple, but I would recommend you to follow this thing. Now let's see let's dive into the functionality of the driver part. So this was your main task, manage sequencer transaction, and there are two local transactions here. And first we are waiting for the reset event to be triggered, and next we can see that there is a forever loop. Within a forever loop, we will be waiting for the next item, that is seek item port.get next item. So this is a blocking task until a sequence is driving something into a sequencer, which is eventually getting into this TXN. So at this point, we got a transaction to be driven into the driver, and if it is right transaction, we will write this transaction into the DUT. Drive right address. So this is a right address agent, and this is a master driver. Therefore, you need to drive the right address field of this transaction, and you can see that this task drive in the drive right address task, you will be driving this ID, length, and address into the appropriate field in the interface. Minterface dot. But while driving, make sure that you are driving through the cloaking blocks instead of driving directly. Make sure that you are driving through the appropriate cloaking blocks. So this is a master driver. So you need to use the master cloaking block, which was DRV MSDCB. You can see that this is a master cloaking block. So this is the syntax: minterface dot the master cloaking block dot the field is equal to the transaction dot the field, and so on. And finally make this transaction as valid. Wait for a clocking. Wait for a next clock, and also make sure that the signal is getting accepted by making sure there is a ready available at least for one clock cycle. Then drive valid equal to 0. You can even print a message saying that this was already driven into the DUT. This transaction was driven into the DUT. And another important thing here is this forever loop. So if you make this, you can make this forever loop without this clocking block. So there is, but you might be ending up with a lot of debugs unwantedly, and also you know that always the DUT is in sync with the clock, so there is no harm in waiting for a positive edge of clock in this forever loop. So initially you might tend to write this thing without a forever, but I would recommend to use a clocking block in this forever loop. So we have completely written the AXI master driver. So let's quickly go through them again. So this was your master driver class. It has an interface, and you need to use an event in order to sync two different tasks which are waiting for the reset, and the other task which is the main functional task, that is driving, getting transaction and driving into DUT. And within that run phase task, as I said earlier, these two will be forked, and the first one will be waiting for a reset, and the second will be getting sequence. The second one will be getting sequence transactions and driving it into DUT. And don't forget to add the sequence item pod item done after driving this transaction, otherwise the test will hang.